All right, so hopefully when you're done, yours will look a little more finished than mine. I left it halfway finished because I wanted to show you the difference that adding black to your value scale can make. So with our value scale, if you look in certain areas, such as right here, we have dark, as dark as you can go with a pencil. We have medium light, and we have light, and then we have white. When we add black, that adds a whole nother element that makes these ribbons pop out. As opposed to these ribbons here that, well, they pop out a little bit because of the way we shaded them, but the parts that are white, the white ribbon against the white background, really kind of fades into it. But we'll discuss that a little later on. We're going to get started with a curled ribbon. I'm going to start with 2 parallel lines. These are lines that go in the same direction but never intersect. Now when the ribbon curls, the 2 sides of the ribbon, they go the same way. So we're going to create that curl just like this. And we're going to create the other side to the curl. Now your style might be to just draw straight lines. I like to be a little scratchy with it. I feel a little more comfortable with that. But that is your choice, whatever you feel comfortable with. The next side of the ribbon, we're going to cross over just like this. Again, your ribbon, just because it doesn't look perfectly like mine, doesn't mean it is not a curled ribbon. As long as you have the parallel lines going in the same direction, you're good. And occasionally you might want to tweak it. You might say, oh, I think it looks better if the ribbon's a little wider. And let's do one more. Curl just like that. If we wanted it to end with a curl, as if some of the curl is coming off the paper, we could bring it around like that at the very edge. I think I'm going to soften this edge just a little bit, like that. Bring this around. Alright, so we have your basic curled ribbon. We're now going to talk about how to shade it. The first and the easiest part, and this applies to whether your ribbon is overlapping because it's on top of another or overlapping itself because it's curled. Wherever it's overlapping, the under part you're going to shade, and you're going to shade in the direction that the 2 parallel lines that make up that under part are going. So I never want to shade this section of the ribbon sideways like this, because this line and this line are going up and down. So I'm going to start at my darkest part right here. I'm going to do just little tiny lines as dark as I can. And if you're nervous about doing this right, you can always start out light and you can go back and darken it. And then I'm going to do medium. And then I'm going to do light. the smoother you can transition it, the better. So we got this part right here. Up here, we have another overlap. This part also goes over this part. So again, we're going to have our darkest part, and it really helps. Sometimes it helps if you do a little outline right here so that you keep your edge nice and straight. I'm going to continue this out for just a bit. Now, ideally, you would be looking at this ribbon as you do this. I am doing it from memory and from the rules of shading that I know. Once you learn these rules, it'll be a lot easier for you to identify where the shadows are supposed to be when you see something in real life. So again, we've got right here, and then get that edge. These are the most important parts. So if you were not to finish, these are the parts that are going to make the most difference. Generally, a part that is a layer down, like this part of the ribbon, that part of the ribbon, this part of the ribbon, is going to be slightly darker. It's going to be in shadow a little more than the top part. Alright, we got one more underneath part. Again, this is underneath, so I'm going to make this a little bit darker. And right here we said we have another twist right at the bottom. So I'm going to come up like that. Alright, now the next part is, generally when you are hiding behind a corner or you're curling around an edge, that edge has a rounded shadow on it. So we're going to come around, we're going to do curved lines right around here. Maybe bring them in just a little bit so we got that nice transition so it's not just dark to white. Same thing right here. You don't want it to be an outline. You want it to be a shadow that's coming around the edge. And this one. Maybe there's a little dent in this ribbon, so we're going to make that shadow come in a little deeper. Right here. You can really be creative with this since you're not actually, well, maybe you are. Maybe you're looking at something real, but I'm not. So we're curving that around. Again, we're coming over here, curling this around. And add a little bit more, especially if it's a darker colored ribbon versus a lighter colored ribbon. You might decide to make yours two-tone, one-tone. If it was a red, we would make this part darker. If it's a lighter color, we could leave it like this. More of these lines, they actually create the illusion that the ribbon is twisting. And I think I don't like that edge, so I'm gonna just adjust that right there. And there you have it, your curled ribbon.